you, mayors, executive vice mayors, for sharing your experience, stories from all over the world. We really appreciate you. Delegates, I have one more surprise. We are going to Istanbul, Turkey, to speak with the Mayor of Istanbul. Mr. Mayor, welcome to Transforming Transportation.
Dear Vice President, honorable colleagues, first of all, I would like to say that I'm very happy to share the experience of Istanbul with you today in this important roundtable event. The COVID-19 pandemic, which affects all areas of life, also changes the routines, expectations, and priorities of public transportation. For example, infection risk has become one of the most important parameters for people's choice of public transportation. That's why we have seen an increase in private car ownership and usage in Istanbul as much as everywhere else. But on the other hand, due to economic problems caused by the pandemic, the need for affordable public transportation is also on the rise. Although we have some ideas for the new normal of public transportation, it still remains unclear how this area will evolve. For example, we don't know exactly how the increase in remote working will affect public transportation or how micro-mobility vehicles will technologically evolve. But we know one thing for sure. From now on, public transportation should be hygiene and people-oriented. The solutions developed in response to the pandemic actually provide hints about the future of transportation. In Istanbul, we have tackled the issue of transportation through the following 6 points. Our first priority was to raise awareness about the pandemic. To this end, starting from March 2020, we ran campaigns about pandemic precautions through the urban areas and communication channels at our disposal. These campaigns still continue today to convince Istanbulites who are indecisive or hesitant about vaccination. Our second priority was to increase the hygiene standards of public transportation. To achieve this, a total of 100 stationary and mobile crews regularly disinfected transport vehicles in Istanbul. We provided masks free of charge to the drivers of the vehicles, while we monitored whether our citizens wear masks on public transportation vehicles and at bus stops. We also distributed hundreds of thousands of masks free of charge to commuters in Istanbul. We monitored passengers' temperatures through thermal cameras in metro stations and crowded bus stops. We launched a mobile application that allows us to track the health status of the drivers. We also set up a system that matches the personal information of citizens with their Istanbul cards, banning them from using public transportation if they are sick or infected with the virus. We added a remote sensor system to the accessible pedestrian button, which does not require a physical push to help pedestrians stay safe at crossings. We also made public transportation free of charge for all healthcare workers during the pandemic. Thirdly, we provided economic support to private sector entrepreneurs who are service providers in public transportation. We gave out staff and fuel subsidies to private, public and sea transportation operators. By bringing privately owned city buses under the umbrella of the Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality, we secured the income of their owners and drivers. Next, we supported alternative transportation options in line with citizens' health concerns. For this purpose, increasing the share of bicycle and sea transportation has become our priority. In areas where public transportation is used for short distance journeys, we built pop-up bicycle routes. By investing in the smart bikes sharing system, we launched a program to double the number of bicycles and bike stops in Istanbul within 2 years. As sea transportation holds significant advantages to minimize the risk of COVID-19 transmission, we took steps to expand it in Istanbul. For example, we made it possible for citizens to use ferries for under 1 cent between 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon during the summer months. We started manufacturing 50 sea taxis in our shipyard to be used in sea transportation. Fifth, we prioritized the design of parklet areas as pedestrian stops to encourage walking short distances. We can see that there will be a great demand in the coming period for these areas, which are designed to provide public spaces for the people where existing pavement widths are narrow. Sixth, we founded the Istanbul Transportation Platform to establish a participatory and inclusive vision for Istanbul in the field of transportation and to make it sustainable. The Istanbul Transportation Platform cares about stakeholder and citizen participation, and the Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality undertakes the role of a facilitator for this platform to have a democratic and inclusive structure. We also aim to establish and activate mechanisms that reinforce the participation of commuters who are directly affected by transportation policies and practices. All these actions that we took show that public transportation will continue to be a very important topic in the coming days. Transportation is a subject that closely concerns the daily life of every citizen and every visitor in the city and covers all sectors from logistics to tourism, from industrial production to agricultural production. This issue grows even more complex with health and hygiene related concerns and increasing environmental sensitivity. Finding the right solutions in this intricate domain can only be possible with collective thinking and participatory models. Therefore, we have to maximize cooperation at all levels. This cooperation should not be confined only within the city, but it should take place between cities and nations too. Even though we live in different locations, we share a connected life on the same planet. While ending my words, I would like to thank Vice President of Infrastructure, Mr. Maktar Diop, for organizing this timely event. Thank you for listening and looking forward to a period of increased cooperation between our cities.
The Mayor of Istanbul in Turkey. Thank you, Mayor, for being part of session number 3